You want the Atlas? Fine. Take it. But skill points? They're mine!
Hi, Zizaran here with another video for 3.15 Expedition League, and this is going to be talking about Atlas passives. Wanted to make an updated video just to make sure that everybody knows that the video is updated, and a lot of new players that aren't going to go rifling through my old videos. So this is going to be for the Maven Atlas passives. This is what they look like, and a lot of people might be wondering, how do I get the Atlas Maven passives, or how do I get to interact with Maven at all? First, I'm going to explain how to do the fight and how to get there for those that are very new, but you can just skip that and go straight to the section down below where it says like points for which region, and we'll timestamp those by region. Somewhere in the vicinity of tier 3 to 5 maps, eventually, first you'll see the envoy, and then nothing will happen. He'll just be like, oh, the Maven! And then the second time you see the envoy, the Maven will witness the fight, and she will drop like this weird green, it is just a green quest item. After you have the green quest item, you just click on the map device, and this will infect your map device with Mavenism, which lets you do this, which will witness a fight. That'll basically make the encounter slightly harder, and you do have to have, for the first set of witnessing, you have to have 0 watchstones. So the second set, you need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And there's different fights, and even if you, for example, do witness, say that, like in this region, I have barely done witnessing. If I put in a tier 16 map and witness that, the fight, once all these 4 are finished, would still be like level 74 or something. So there are 3 ways, 4 ways, 5 ways, 6 ways, and 10 ways. 10 ways being the really, really hardest ones with the 4 watchstones in at the same time. And these fights also drop, like, they drop Maven Splinters, depending on how hard you roll them on the 10 way. And it drops all the loot that the bosses could normally drop. So if you have like high bonuses on your Atlas and stuff, like for example, chance to drop additional unique, all of those bosses can do that. So you can get things like, you know, Headhunter or cool things from it. So the 10 ways are worth farming and gives you the Maven Splinters to finally encounter the Maven. But now that the explanation of how to get there is out of the way, let's look at where to assign points. First, let's start with Haewark Hamlet. Haewark Hamlet is probably one of the, or maybe the most powerful region, and depends a little bit if you're Trade League or Solo Self-on, but essences are incredibly strong. They sell really well in Trade League, so this node amplified means that they will be found at Screaming, and just because there is an essence in every map, that means that you get more special essences like Dread, Mystery, Scorn, and Envy that you can use the Remnant of Corruption on. And you will get more Remnants too, because, you know, you have an essence in every map. And having them at a high tier makes that it becomes fairly reasonable to get a large amount of like Shriekings. And what I normally do is I would upgrade a stack to Deafening and swap that around with the harvest stuff until I get one that's like really, really good. So essences, really, really good. Then you basically have the choice between Ritual, which is incredibly good for Trade League, where you can actually buy the Splinters. Did get nerfed because I don't think you can get the 5 altar anymore. Still really, really strong, and people like farming that a lot with the Splinters. That requires more of an investment. For passively mapping, the harvest nodes are pretty good. You will get more of like decent crafts and stuff. I've still not had an augment, so very rare, but that's normally my go-to. But there is also people that like Ritual and then investing into the Splinters. Next up, let's look at Tirn's End. This was the first thing that I rushed this league, and it is incredibly strong as a starter, especially on Solo Self-on, but also in Trade League. The exotic goods, even though it got, well, they called it buffed, but I would call it nerfed, it's really, really strong. It used to shit out 6-links. I would get like, I think one day I had 8 or 9 6-links in one day. And I think nearly all of them were body armors. Very, very strong. And this means that if you are doing tier 16 maps in Tirn's End, and a boss drops a 6-link, an animation boss drops a 6-link in a tier 16, it will always be at item level 85. So very, very good. And that's one of the drops that are the valuable item. It can also be like 5 to 10 chaos, 5 to 10 sextants, 20 silver coins or 10 silver coins. Like, it shits out very reasonable stuff for something you don't notice. It's just like you're just mowing down these innovation monsters. They can be, I think the most I've had is 4. I don't know how many they can have, maybe like between 3 to 5, but sometimes just 1. Really, really good. Honestly, so worth to have while passively mapping. I went for that which you seek next to have a bigger chance of delirium. I'm hunting down cluster jewels. However, on Solo Self-on, Lightless Legion is a really, really good way to get item level 86 bases. Next up, let's look at Lex Proxima, and I pretty much use this region just for delving. I don't really like being in this region unless I really need to delve. The harvest stuff is okay. I probably will take Heart of the Grove as my last points because I do want to upgrade my Oshabi. Like once you kill Oshabi, your harvest bench saves 15 instead of 10. So that's really, really good. The breaches. I know I had some friends lastly on Trade League that were experimenting with these to make money off breach stones. But that depends on the price of breaches, but could be worth experimenting with. So generally, I always go for Sulfide Infusion, and we'll go for Heart of the Groove, and just a point here and a point here for more chance of harvest and more delve missions. Lex Ejoris. Honestly, my least favorite region. I would do Prospero here, friend of the family, and it was nerfed with 5 rare or rarest of 5 chosen items. It was incredibly strong. At 3, it is okay. But they also added so much stuff to Kadiro that it's a lot less reasonable now. So not as strong as before, but that's probably what I would take. Pathological, really, really nice as well. Just have layers of delirium. Delirium counters in areas have a chance to generate 3 additional reward types. So those 5 here is what I would take. Areas have a 50% chance to just randomly surprise you with death. And if you take both of them, areas have a chance to definitely surprise you with death. I haven't played with this, not going to, not gonna try it on hardcore. Seems like a Russian roulette on dying. Flesh Merchant, not worth it. Next up, Lira Arthain, really, really good region. Natural selection, really strong. And you can also roll Watchstones that make the beasts, again, less common varieties. And then you start getting a lot of split beasts, imprint beasts, etc. and the portal beasts. So very, very good, especially for doing beast rotations in a group of 6 people with somebody who has all the Watchstones and you're all just pounding in lures, like Kraken lures. Just in like 2 hours, I think we made like 6,000 chaos each or something stupid lastly. Very tedious, can be a bit boring, but very profitable. Depends how many people are doing it. Secret Stash and Inside Job. I've tried playing with this. I've not had any success. I've never found a fully revealed blueprint. Literally never. And I played with this for 2 leagues, I think. And I did run quite a decent amount of Lira, I think. Obviously not a region. I'm going to like focus like Haewark Hamlet. Immune response, kind of whatever. But epidemiology is actually awesome. I've gotten like tier 13 to 16 maps with like triple gold oils and stuff. And when you're not using them yourself, then it's very, very good. So that can be very rewarding. I would probably take these 2 points next and then maybe Secret Stash as the next one, just because I want to run heist right now for currency. Next up, Valdo's Rest. I've just taken the Betrayal ones. I have 2 more points. Maybe I'll go for the Blight stuff. I haven't looked at the new Harbinger, but taking that for passively mapping is probably not bad. Obviously that got nerfed. So I haven't seen it after. I'll probably go for the Harbinger next. So I'll do the Betrayal stuff. I always run Betrayal here when possible. And then, yeah, I'll go for this next. And then we'll take some Blight encounters. And I don't want anything to do with Metamorph, so we're skipping that. But these 2, very, very good. Glennach Cairns. This is where I run all my incursion exclusively. And they're very, very good. They basically mean that you can go from level 1 to 3 when upgrading. Otherwise, they're pretty whatever. For Legion, I always run those in New Vastir anyway. So, I don't know, maybe the Beyond stuff is used on Trade League. But the only thing I really care about here would be the incursion stuff. I wouldn't really spend a lot of time in Glennach Cairns. This is just where I do my incursion, which is really, really strong. Very, very strong. Other than that, you pretty much have a choice of whatever the nodes appeal to you the most. Legion is definitely good. And honestly, these are pretty high value. So going for these 2 and then all the Legion nodes, pretty great. But yeah, again, these nodes might be used a bit more in Trade League, but not sure. This is what I would go for. Next up, we have New Vastir, and New Vastir is incredibly powerful. I really love this region. This is where I run a lot of my Legion, and it's because Timeless Splinters dropped in areas have a 1% chance to drop as Timeless Emblem. So you basically double your drop rate. You get each Legion in areas contain an additional Warhorde. So this is really, really strong. It means that you get a chest every time, and it just feels incredibly good. That once like you pop in like some Legion scarabs in here and you're just getting a large amount of splinters, and it feels incredibly good when you do get lucky. And like, doesn't always happen. Sometimes you go like loads of Legions without getting a full emblem, but then when you open a few or do a map and you get like 3 or 4 emblems out, feels amazing. So really love emblematic. Other than that, this got nerfed kind of hard. I used to like the Abyss one. The Rogue Exiles, not really experimented enough with. This one is bait and would never really take it. I guess just the delve nodes next. Honestly, I don't really care about any other nodes. Just these are enough to do New Vastir alone. Now, as for the middle region, this is incredibly strong. This is unlocked by doing the special Shaper fights and the Maven herself. You get them from, for example, if you want to do the Shaper Guardian fight, you get them from killing the Shaper Guardians. Same with the Elder Guardians, etc. They can also drop from just maps. Like I've already had, just by doing a courtyard, I got like the Twisted, which is the Elder Guardians. I think it's like a 20-25% drop rate when you are actually farming them. So you, in theory, should, by killing 4, have one of them, but you obviously can get unlucky. Then you need to witness them, which can be pretty hard. Obviously, Maven makes the fights harder. And here there is a lot of good stuff, and this is where I usually use my unmaking orbs. So let's look a little bit at the different ones. So you have this one is really strong, 3% chance to drop an Elder and Shaper Guardian map, and I play with that in a lot of the time. And normally I will spec into Gaze into the Abyss. Like I would save up a bunch of Elders, a bunch of Uber Elders, and then put this in and run all of it, right? Then I would spec out of that. So I would do Elder Days, is what I call it. I would do an Elder Session. Close allies, incredibly strong. I initially thought this node was bait, but especially after completion bonus being nerfed, very, very strong. You will definitely notice that you're getting a large amount of Atlas missions. So would recommend that. Next up, we have the Path Not Taken, which is the second Zana node, and it basically doubles the amount of base numbers of maps showing up. This means that you will get more things like Cortex, Shaper, and Elder Guardians from your Zana, and it makes your Zana just incredibly good to run into your 16s. So normally, the main setup I'd be running, and first 3 nodes, I would have Close Allies and Path Not Taken. You're getting a large amount of Zana missions, and the other ones for that matter, and your Zana is just super powered. Echoes of War doesn't really seem worth it, but those are the 3 points that I would always have. The synthesis points, it's not bad having this just for mapping, same as this, so those. But also, like, specking into those and doing synthesis days have been pretty cool. A well-rolled fractured item could be incredibly strong, and the synthesized having 3 implicits on the unique boss drops also can be incredibly rewarding. I wouldn't keep this on permanently. I would save up like 10 to 50 synthesis maps and run those at a time. Seekers of the Stones. This was used last patch to force 5 ritual. I'm pretty sure that doesn't work anymore. Maybe somebody in the comments can clarify. I'm 99% that was nerfed, but I could have misread that in the patch notes. I can't think of anything else that this is incredibly strong for, so I don't love that myself. Sextant modifiers having 1 additional use. Very powerful for softcore farming where you are obviously using sextants on every map, so this is really good, and also can be pretty good for Soul Self-Fund because it makes your sextants last longer. So pretty good value from that, really, really good. And then the Awakener stuff, really, really good. If you're trying to get Awakened gems, and Awakening level is pretty good in general. This also makes you have Awakening level 8 without having all your stones in, because generally I play with like Awakener level 6, or you can push it to 7 and then 8 with this. That's a little bit about how like I would dynamically play around with the Uncharted Realms. I could see people not taking Thaumaturgical Awakening anymore because people don't care as much about Awakened gems. But being able to do fast iris and stuff if you're farming it, pretty good, and Awakening level is always good just for mapping. So that's a little bit of my thought process behind the Uncharted Realms. I hope it helps you guys. And yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Good luck in 3.15. Hope you're all having a great time. Thank you so much for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.